I think the word foreign actually has a very negative connotation, which is why in this case, I don't want to use the word 외국인, which 흔히 한국에서 foreigner라는 단어 많이 쓰죠. But here, notice that foreign here, 낯설다. 뭔가 느낌이 별로 안 좋지 않나요? foreigner 보고 foreigner라고 하면 별로 듣기 안 좋거든요. So, I want to change it around and just say from where I stand. From where I stand. Notice that I'm using the word I'm referring to myself. So considering that this person, or myself, is actually a foreigner, I would like to say from where I stand. 제 입장에서는 이런 뜻이에요. From where I stand. It's quite a foreign sight. It's quite a foreign sight. Now, I mean, this really varies from speaker, to writer, to writer. I mean, you may think the word foreigner is not offensive at all. Then, I mean, go ahead, roll with it. It's just my personal opinion. I think the word foreigner is very vague. It's very wide. And if I hear from other people, it just sounds a little... not offensive, but a little bit annoying, so I don't like to use it. So it's really up to you. It's your personal decision, but I want to go with from where I stand, from where I stand. All right, let's move on back to the screen. He answers, 세뱃돈은 복돈이라고도 말합니다. They also refer to 세뱃돈 as 복돈. Now, notice how I just spelled it out, okay? How we would pronounce it or how we would read it in English. They also refer to 세뱃돈 as 복돈. Now, but there's a comma. I want to continue on because for those of people who aren't familiar with Korean, this is gibberish. I can't really understand what this means, so I think we need to provide some context. So, literally, you could add on, which roughly translates to 대충 번역하면 이런 뜻이에요. Money for luck. 복돈은 money for luck라고도 할 수 있겠죠? Because it's money that's supposed to bring in or reel in luck for you. So I think it's quite necessary, especially if you're talking to somebody who's not familiar with Korean culture, roughly translates to money for luck. I think this is quite necessary. So altogether you could say they also refer to 세뱃돈 as 복돈, which roughly translates to money for luck. Money for luck. And he continues on. 복을 받으라는 의미로 액수가 크지 않은 돈을 줍니다. Good. He's elaborating further what this day is about. Okay, so 복을 받으라는 의미로 큰 의미로 액수가 크지 않을 돈 줍니다. Now in this context, we're not exactly sure who is giving to who, but in the English language, you absolutely need a subject. Who's the one that's going to give or provide the money? Of course, in this case, it's the adults. So let's start with that. The adults. In the family, 가족에서 어르신들이 뭐를 하죠? Give out. 돈을 주죠. Give out. 또는 hand out이라고도 하실 수 있어요. Give out. 얼마나 많지 않은 액수가 크지 않은 돈. A small amount of money. And now I'm going to add another strong verb to make this sentence more solid. It's the word hope. Hoping. 왜냐면 운이라는 거는 많이 올지 적게 올지 잘 모르는 거잖아요. So I think it's very important to add the word hope here. Hoping that the money will bring luck. 복을 받으라는 의미로. So altogether you could say the adults in the family give out a small amount of money, hoping that the money will bring luck. Now note that in this sentence we don't know if it was the adults, but in the future or in the next context we know that it's the adults who's going to provide the money. So I think it's important to say who the subject is. The adults in the family give out a small amount of money, hoping that the money will bring luck. And does she understand what he's talking about? Yes, she does. 그렇군요. Have you heard of the expression, I see? Oh, I see. Very simple, right? Oh, I see. All right, now how does she continue on? 이번 설날에는 세뱃돈을 많이 받았나요? 이번 설날에는 this 설날, did you Do you think we'll use the word receive or accept? Receive or accept. 아까 처음에 배웠었죠? 여기서는 receive이라는 단어가 더 맞습니다. It's much more appropriate to use the word receive because it's not something that you need to really accept. You don't need to approve money, or do you? I'm not sure. But in this context, receive is much more appropriate. Did you receive a lot of 세뱃돈 this year? Did you receive a lot of 세뱃돈 this year? So did she? How is he going to respond to this? 세뱃돈은 주로 어린이들이 받습니다. Yes, in Korea it's usually the children who get the money, right? So 주로, usually 어린이들이 받습니다. 자, 받는다. 여기서 또 나왔네요. Would you use the word accept or receive? I think receive is again much more appropriate. It's not something that really needs your pre-approval. It's something that the adults do, okay? So, usually 어린이들이, the children. You could just say the children receive 세뱃돈, but I think it's important to highlight which kind of children. In the family. It's people in your family. Amongst everyone in the family, it's the children. So I think it's very important to highlight that. Usually, the children in the family receive 세뱃돈. One more time. Usually, the children in the family receive 세뱃돈. So she's going to respond to this. What does she say? 그렇군요. I see. 자세한 설명을 듣고 보니 이해가 쉽게 되네요. Now, one more new expression before we listen to the whole dialogue together, and it's I get it. 이해가 돼요. 이런 뜻이에요. I get it. And because he's explained it, she understands. I see.